Hello people, this is Power here to review the Kamen Rider Zero-One DX WakeUpping Kiva Progrise key. This is the Progrise key and representation of Kamen Rider Kiva. Obviously, logos, rider symbol, Kamen Rider Zero-One WakeUpping Kiva. I want to say this is... the yellow is definitely brighter. Zero-One and Kiva. And yeah, and just to note, this is our last but least Progrise DX Progrise key that we're covering. So let's just finish this up. So here's the Kiva Progrise key, and if I have to be honest, like, I really like the color scheme of this one. It just stands out, and I like in a good way, because obviously on the cover we got this metallic yellow, which I don't believe we had with any other rider. So this looks pretty good. And then the red, and we have a red base, which again, I don't think a Legend Rider, well, okay, there's Drive, but I don't know, like, this color combination, like, is just really good. Like, if I had to, like, say something positive, because obviously I don't. Here's the name, WakeUpping Kiva, ability Vampire, Kiva Silhouette, QR code for Putaba Gamba is 089. We open it up, again it's too low. Here's the inside. There's Kiva Silhouette and his rider symbols. If I had to admit, out of the four Legend Rider Progrise keys I've covered, or like that came out in April, I had to say Kiva's the best one. Like, cause I don't know why, like the other ones, they look like they're like really bad quality. But anyways, sounds.
Vampire! Kiva's ability. Vampire! Kiva's ability.
I apologize if that looks really washed out. Starting out with the Zero-One driver.
Vampire! Authorize.
Like, this color scheme actually goes pretty well.
Progrise. You can say, WakeUpping Kiva. A genius violinist who stays in solitude.
So there's the transformation of Kiva's key, which it uses Freezing Bear, which, as I stated in the unboxing, I understand why, because, you know, like, the connections between, like, Kiva being a violinist and Freezing Bear being orchestrano, but I was full on expecting Sting Scorpion, just because I was kind of referring to, like, the Gashat. I kind of wish they like, I'm fine with the text-to-speech, but I wish they didn't go with the genius violinist, because then they're literally just kind of copying and pasting what they did with Build. And honestly, I feel like the way that his transformation is composed is just all over the place, because you have, like, the Fluessel, you have the Fluessel sound, like, just being really loud, but then you can, like, you have, like, the Freezing Bear, like, sounds still apparent. I just wish I wish they edited it a bit better.
WakeUpping Impact.
And the attack just feels really abrupt here, which I guess I'm just being really nitpicky at this point.
WakeUpping Impact.
Force Riser. The framing here is inconsistent, because I keep wanting to do the demo framing, but I do different framing for the reviews.
Vampire!
look like, again, I like, I don't know, I think this is like the only Progrise key I actually like aesthetically, just because it just works.
WakeUpping Dystopia.
Again, the back, like the black, just helps this emit a bit better.
WakeUpping Utopia.
And obviously, this is like one riser.
Vampire. Cyclone Rise. WakeUpping Kiva. A genius violinist who stays in solitude.
I really like how this red just works off of the red that's on here.
WakeUpping Spark. WakeUpping the end.
And do this officially for the last time for DX ones.
Cyclone Rise. WakeUpping Kiva. A genius violinist who stays in solitude.
Last but not least, the shot riser.
Vampire.
Again, hopefully that I don't have to do reshoots.
Authorize. Shot Rise. WakeUpping Kiva. A genius violinist who stays in solitude. Vampire. WakeUpping Blast.
Because when I was doing the demo, it actually never clicked to me that this actually makes sense. Because obviously, like, Fever is part of Kiva and such.
Vampire.
Or like, Wake Up Juice and then Perform.
WakeUpping Blast.
The actual reason why we're using the arrow, because of the Kiva arrow.
Vampire.
I didn't want to use a different thing for Kabuto.
Progrise key confirmed. Ready to utilize. Kiva's ability. WakeUpping attacks.
And honestly, like, if I had to be honest, is that, like, what even is that sound? Like, it sounds like they're trying to use the standby, but there's this, like, violin. It's like, I never heard it before.
Progrise key confirmed. Ready to utilize. Kiva's ability. WakeUpping Kamen Shoot. Charge Rise. WakeUpping Charge. Full charge. WakeUpping Kamen Strike. Try.
And that's it for this key and the entirety of the DX Legend Rider Progrise keys. So basically because like again before I actually get to my overall thoughts on this entire subline of Progress keys, again, if you like it, if you like the series, if you dislike the series, if you despise the series, if you admire these series, if you need to complete the entirety of the Legend Rider Progress keys, like if you already have like 14 of them, you might as well pick up this one. But my thoughts on the Legend Rider Progress keys overall, they're neat for sure. In my opinion, they're huge improvements over the Legend Rider Gashats. I feel like the way that the Legend Rider Gashats were really messy, like jingle wise, and just inconsistencies of like how exactly the what jingle went to where, and then like I don't know, like, and obviously because you only had 6 of them retail, or 8 of them technically, and then like the other 10 were like premium Bandai. So like that's the thing that I like with this line, is that it's retail, but then as we're going to cover next, like the next 5 of them are not retail at all, and it's really questionable as to why they're not. Especially with how they're releasing them, you could have clearly released them all in DX form, but they're not doing that. But then another thing I find weird too is that it's really weird that these Legend Rider Progrise keys are essentially substitutions of their original counterparts. Like, looking at Double. Like, Double is a DX version of Trapping Spider because Trapping Spider is stuck as a magazine pack-in. And that's the same with Kuga. And, like, these others, like, as I mentioned before, Kabuto is a retail, like, substitution for Exciting Stag. And it's just weird. Like, I find it weird that essentially, I find it weird that with like Fies, he was our first like iteration of Scouting Panda before getting Scouting Panda, and it's like, it shouldn't be like that. It should have been that. Honestly, we should have gotten these Progrise keys way before these Legend Rider ones. Like, that's the thing I can at least commend Xaid, and I'm kind of happy that, the ones that actually did feature, like, later jingles were held off, so then, like, we didn't get Agito, like, wondering what the heck the level 3 was, and such. But it's just weird how it was just handled, like, because it's just, like, I guess what I feel like is, like, these Legend Rider Progrise keys should not be required to get if you want the fullest potential. Like, if you want a DX, Dynamite Lion, or Trapping Spider, you have to get Kuga and Double's Progrise keys. And that's just really weird. And if you want cheaper alternatives to Scouting Panda, Exciting Stag, Gatling Hedgehog, or even Sparkling Giraffe, then you have to get their Legend Rider counterparts. And it's just like, that's really weird. Like, I feel like I'm repeating myself at this point, but it's just like, you shouldn't be forced to get a Legend Rider gimmick because it has overheation and camera overheated, but I was gonna finish. So it's just like, like looking back at it, I do love the Legend Rider Progrise keys. I just think the best part about them is just the English. So that's kind of why I went all for it. But like, I find it really ridiculous that like the Legend Rider gimmicks are technically required if you want the fullest of like what the counterpart of the Progrise key is. Like that just isn't right. And again, it's just like, you know, some of these are like premium, like some of the Progrise keys are premium Bandai, like Storming Penguin and Splashing Whale. So like, if you want like, you know, a cheap alternative of that, then you, well, obviously you can. Luckily for those, you can get like the Candy Toy Gashapon, or if you want the DX feeling, like esque thing, then you have to get Driver Blade. So it's just like, obviously you're like a fan of the rider, and if you don't really care, I guess, like if you just at least want some version of the jingle, then it's fine. But then like, obviously you want the actual jingle, like if you want the full sound, but you have to get the Legend Rider version to get that essentially. Then that's just, it's just frustrating and like questioning. It's it's mind boggling. For sure. But that's it for this review. It's already like over the amount of time I would have liked this to be at, but I just really want to put that out there. It's just, I'm not criticizing the Legend Rider gimmicks because obviously I collect them, but it's just weird with how Zero-One handled it, because that's literally like, again, like going back to the Gashats, it's just like, despite like my like dislike of the inconsistencies within like sounds and such, at least the at least the releases were consistent. Not the releases. Oh yeah, I can say releases, because essentially with the Legend Rider, or yeah, the Legend Rider Gashats, they just stuck to like the main 10, and you know, they offshoot some things like, okay, Mighty Brothers and Tattle Fantasy, but like they mostly just stuck to the main 10. But with Zero-One, they literally just went out with like, okay, here's the initial ones we had, and then like, oh shoot, we need more riders. Use the Zaya keys. And it's like, the issue with that is that like, when they started, like, I think when like Drive got released and such, it was just like, we didn't even have like DX equivalents of these Progrise keys. If we had them earlier, I think it would have been fine. But because like, either the Zaya keys that they use here are, they're either premium Bandai, movie ticket exclusives, or just magazine pack-ins. It's just like, it's infuriating for sure. But yeah, I'm really gonna end this now. I think I'm almost running 20 minutes, so this is PowerRider, and I'll leave people. And I really hope people don't take the duration just because I was ranting about my dislike of Kiva. Bye.